Well, I think it's about that time again for another rant. It's been a while, and in this video, it's going to be about a trend that we've been seeing in phones lately, and let me give you a sample of some recent phones that have been announced or released, and see if you can spot the thing that I'm going to be talking about in this video. I'm sure a lot of you have already guessed. And of course, it is the stupid notch that Apple first introduced. Sure, that's one thing if one phone manufacturer adds this design choice, but the fact that every single manufacturer has added the same exact thing is just, oh my god, I can't stand it. It's so stupid. Here is just a couple examples of phones not released by Apple that now have the notch. There's the LG G7, the OnePlus 6, the Huawei P20, and the Honor 10, the Asus Zenfone 5, and some smaller brands like the Vivo V9, the Oppo F7, the Xiaomi Mi 8, which by the way looks exactly like the iPhone X, totally didn't rip off that entire design for the phone, and even the leaked Pixel 3 phones by Google themselves had to copy the notch. Guys, it has been less than 1 year since the iPhone X has been released, and manufacturers of phones just cannot resist. They cannot help themselves from copying whatever the iPhone does. The way I see it, it's completely pathetic. I mean, what message are you giving to customers when you copy someone else's design? It's saying, look, this other phone is superior, ours isn't as good, so we have to copy something that they did to make ours as good. That's exactly what you're saying to customers when you do something like this, especially when every single manufacturer does it. Why would anyone buy a copy when they can buy the one phone that everyone is copying? That obviously makes it so the iPhone is seen as the best one, and these manufacturers are just shooting themselves in the foot at this point. And it's not even just the whole notch. I mean, it first started with the headphone jack. Apple was the first one to ever remove the headphone jack. Then we had the Pixel remove the headphone jack. And again, this continues to just basically scream, iPhone's the best, we're gonna just follow whatever they do. And obviously that's the case, otherwise why would they keep copying what Apple does? It's one thing if they copy one feature. It's like, oh, that's a great idea, yeah, let's do that. But the fact that it is completely optional to add that notch, there's no real reason to have it. It's purely to copy something the iPhone is doing. And really, what is the end goal of these manufacturers? Are they trying to get iPhone users to switch over? Who in their right mind, first of all, is going to say, oh, well, I'm not going to use this phone because it doesn't have a notch? That's just ridiculous. Just as ridiculous as someone saying, oh, well, you know what? I like my iPhone X because it has a notch, which I don't think anyone ever has said before. And then they see, oh, well, this Android phone now has a notch. I better just switch to that because it has the exact same feature as the one that I have. And for someone who is maybe deciding between upgrading their phone between an Android and an iPhone, which one do you think they're gonna go with? The one that is clearly doing the copying or the original, the iPhone? And that's assuming that this is like an important feature to you for some reason. You're like, I really want a notch. And then you say, well, I could go with either one, may as well just go with the iPhone because it's the one that did it first, it must be better. And you know what would actually get people to switch to Android or maybe even choose the Android over an iPhone? Unique features, obviously, and prioritizing making a unique brand that has legs up over other phones and not worrying about what other phones are doing and purposefully making it so your phone is different and not going to look the same as every other manufacturer that's copying them. And what's especially needed is better marketing. And I'm specifically gonna pick on Google and the Pixel phone right now because Google, there is no reason why they should not be able to compete with iPhone. Now, iPhone has the advantage in marketing because literally everybody knows about iPhone, but somehow Google, one of the biggest companies in the world, everybody knows Google, but somehow they have failed so bad at marketing their Pixel phone that seriously, a lot of people, most people perhaps, don't even know what the Pixel phone is. They'd be better off at this point literally just calling it the Google phone. At least then people would know what it is. So in the case of the Pixel, at least, you have this death sentence of crappy marketing where practically no one knows what the Pixel phone is, combined with just copying other phones to the point where you really have almost no unique thing to make it stand out in the first place. And the sad thing is, it's not even like these Android phones are bad phones in the first place. There's no reason they have to copy Apple. I mean, take the Pixel again. The Pixel 1 and the Pixel 2 easily have some of the best cameras. The Pixel 2 probably has the best camera in any smartphone these days. It truly is outstanding, way better than the iPhone in my opinion. But no matter what good features they add, if they copy the iPhone so obviously, that is what people are going to focus on. You could have the best features in the entire phone, but if you obviously rip off something the iPhone is doing, you are going to be branded as an iPhone copy, an inferior iPhone copy, just from the fact that you copied it in the first place, and they're gonna ignore everything else about it, except for the hardcore fans who are going to look deeper into it, and those people you don't even need to sell to anyway, and those are the people who aren't gonna care about the notch in the first place. And let's be real here, there are plenty of features they could add that would be unique and not like the iPhone. For example, 120 hertz screen. I think the Razer phone did this. It actually did stand out. I don't think they did as much marketing as they could, and a lot of people didn't buy it, but I think phone manufacturers really need to move on to 120 hertz screens. It's something that will be immediately impressive to anyone who uses a phone that has that. And then you got things like wireless charging. Remember that funny time where the iPhone 8 added wireless charging? Meanwhile, Google had removed wireless charging in their Pixel phones. Great move, Google. See, the trick is to remove a feature after Apple does it, not remove a feature after Apple adds the feature. That it's easy to mix up here. And of course, I mean, there's always the option to, you know, maybe instead of obsessing over how thin the phone is, which really literally no one cares if a phone is like a quarter of a millimeter thinner, and instead add a bigger battery that would like double the battery life. But oh no, we need to obsess over that thin phone because that's what Apple does, right? We can't have a thicker phone than Apple, God forbid. And then there's other features that aren't as well known but still very useful and practical, such as dual SIM card slots. I mean, there's plenty of people out there who have separate phones for work and personal, and then they would not have to buy separate phones. They could combine them, and I think that would be a big selling point for a lot of people, and maybe even people who didn't even know this feature existed would go out and buy it specifically for that. There's plenty of stuff they can do, but they insist instead on doing the same old junk and just copying what Apple does. So yeah, it's truly getting absurd at this point. It was one thing when Apple removed the headphone jack, and then a couple other phone manufacturers removed it, but this time around, it's not even something that is necessary at all. It's a pure design standpoint choice, and yet they all are copying it. It's so pathetic, like I said before. I don't even know what else to say about it. You guys can let me know what you think down in the comments. I have a hard time believing that anyone is gonna disagree. So let's talk about that down in the comments. Do you disagree? Maybe you actually like the notch. Would you rather have that bigger screen except it cuts into stuff? I don't know, let us know. Also, if you wanna keep watching, I'll put some other videos right here. You can just click on those. And if you wanna subscribe, I make a few new videos every week, so it should be worth it. So thanks again for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Have a good one.